Bartering is something you must do, or something you must do in some urban survival situations, not all. But it's certainly something you need to know how to do. Now, this video is also going to be a lecture, like my last video. But I'm not going to go through all the nuances of what you can barter. I'm not going to show you how to make them and this and that. Necessity is the mother of all invention, and when it comes to an urban survival situation, you will know what is in demand, what you can put together, and what you could possibly get away with. What I want you to take away from this video is concepts. Yet again, concepts. I want you to form the idea of how to go about bartering, how to effectively manage bartering, how to ensure you get what you need by bartering. I want you to know what bartering is, the principle. Okay, what to barter and all that sort of stuff, that's more business. You'll understand what's in demand. Okay, I can give you more examples of what you could concoct, like I did in another video of how I showed you how to make a frog gig. But that's going a bit, not la-di-da, but some things are just very obvious. And as I said, necessity being the mother of all invention, you'll just know what to barter or what to put together by genius when it comes to it. But this video is to form a concept in your mind of how to approach bartering in any given situation, how to get things done, so to speak, because that's what I'm about. That's what this, if there's anything about this course, it's getting things done. That's what survival is about. Okay, that's like the unspoken rule or the unofficial rule, something that's not being said about all survival situations, whether wilderness or urban survival. Survival is just the art of getting shit done, obviously, efficiently, safely, and masterly to some degree. But if there was another word for survival, it is the art of getting shit done to save yourself. So let's stop using the word survival, for instance. I don't know if that's a Latin word or an English word, but it's just a title. And titles can depict things vividly for people, but I like to call things what they are. So I do this a lot, especially in my personal life. I reterm things. So take away survival, and let's rebrand it, rename it, the art of getting shit done. The art of getting things done to stay alive. That's it. The art of getting shit done. The art of getting stuff done. Getting stuff done to stay alive. And that's the concept, like any other video I've made regarding urban survival, of this video. How do you get bartering done? Bartering has this magic fucking cloud over it. Ooh, bartering. And like, people almost immediately think of the fucking economic system and finance, and all these mathematical numbers start triggering in their head. They all of a sudden think, oh shit, Pythagoras' theorem and fucking statistics. No, what the fuck's that got to do with bartering? Bartering is as simple as this. Hey mate, see you've got a fucking bottle of salt there. I need that. I've got some candles. Do you need these? Yeah, I need some candles. I sort of need the salt. Oh, do ya? You really need the salt? Yeah, I'd like the candles, but I'd rather the salt. Alright, well, what if I give you both candles and you give me half the salt? I'll just put it in something. Yeah, actually, that's a pretty good idea. I don't need all this salt. You getting my point? Bartering is just common fucking sense. So let's start at homelessness. And you can do this. Homelessness is a safer situation can get to do this. It's as dangerous as it being a fucking salesman in the middle of a shopping centre. Okay? Don't go door knocking in the middle of the night, but if you're in a homelessness situation, for instance, and you've got before I go on, never give anybody, any person, anything opened. Don't be like that. Even if you trust yourself, it's just not right. Don't give people things that are opened. So if you've got, for instance, unopened alcohol or unopened salt or unopened drinks, it could be a nice soft drink. Some of them are expensive, you know. You could go to your surrounding, a neighbour, just knock. Hey mate, I'm like this. Everybody knows me, how I am. There is no shame, and that's a skill. That's a talent. That's a godsend. That's a survival skill. Having no shame. So this whole British idea of, oh, that's just so shameful, is really completely and utterly counterproductive for survival. No. So I'm the type of bloke that will knock on the door if I'm homeless, and that is what I technically am still, but I've got other means of procuring stuff where I don't have to do this. But if I didn't, I would do this comfortably, like anything else I do. So you knock on the door, let's just say old grandma comes out, "Hey, what do you fucking want, mate?" Whatever she says. What are you doing here? This is the worst case scenario. Grandmother angry at you, what are you doing here? Look, I'm so sorry to bother you. I can leave now. Now what do you want? Look, I'm homeless, and I've got this orange juice, and I don't drink orange juice. I've got no money. I just want like a sausage or some meat or anything so I can just eat. I haven't eaten all day, and I've got to keep my energy up, or I'm stuffed. It's not opened. Oh, keep your orange juice. Give me a second. I'll go get some snags. Here you go, love. It's that simple. That's what will probably happen. I just know by experience. They're not going to fucking take your drink if they know you're homeless. But at least you've got something to barter with. You're not being dishonest. You're not doing it on purpose to make people feel sorry for yourself and give you stuff. Although that's in effect, that's a lot of the time that happens. You're bartering honestly. You've got an orange juice. Okay, here you go. Here's some orange juice. And you're not always going to get angry grandma. It happens. It does happen in many neighbourhoods, depending where you are, especially in the West. But you'll usually get your average Aussie bloke, or average whatever you want to regard as the average Aussie bloke, who will be understanding. And they may even give you a fucking entire fucking... they'll probably put together a fucking hamper. Give me a second. Let me get my picnic basket. And all of a sudden you've got fucking chockies. You've got everything in there. So people are kind. As long as you're not deceptive. As long as you go there not asking for that stuff. You don't ask for that. You just barter. And in a homeless situation, I would say 9 out of 10 times, but I'm going to say 9.9 out of 10 times, you're going to get something good if you're talking to an average person. And they'll probably swap you. Some people actually swap you, as long as what you've got to offer is in a good state. And again, nothing opened. So it could be an unopened pre-workout powder. It could be an unopened bottle of oil. Just something you have that you really don't need. And now whilst this works most effectively in homelessness, it still works in these principles I've just highlighted. It still works in a urban survival situation where the grid's down, where it's a nuclear holocaust, where it's a pandemic. But the dynamics slightly change in terms of how receptive the party being approached is. I want you to highlight that in bartering. How receptive the party being approached is. Okay? Because depending on the verity of the situation, depending on what situation it is how receptive the party is going to be. Okay? You're not going to... Grandma may not be so fucking kind to you if it's a nuclear holocaust. No human being has eaten for fucking weeks, and her only meat that she could possibly eat is your meat. She may come out with a fucking gun, bang! And instead of calling you or saying something to you, to be, "Come here, Daryl! We've got a dead one! It's time to eat!" And next thing you know, you're being skinned, eaten, and they're surviving. You may think that's fucking shocking. But that's actually what can happen and has happened in many places around the world. Okay, it's not like they put that on the news all the time, but that's what happens in a really bad urban survival situation. So you've got to weigh the difference between the situations. Okay, is it worth trying to barter in this particular situation? How are the people's attitudes on the ground? Okay, if it's a civil war, do you know who you're bartering with? If all society is broken down, are there desperate gangs? Is this a gang? Is this? You've got to be very smart and very clever. So you've got to weigh the importance of bartering. So there's another concept, importance of bartering. Weigh the importance of bartering. If you don't barter, is it life and death? Or is it just a luxury? Can you do without it? Now, obviously, as the risk factor goes lower, the threshold for importance is much, much lower. It doesn't have to be as important. So the threshold for importance of bartering is directly proportionate, not inversely proportionate, directly proportionate to risk factor. So homelessness, okay, getting a nice feed or trying to score some meat from some kind lady is pretty reasonable. It's highly unreasonable to think that I'm going to knock on this average suburban home and they're going to shoot me to eat me. It's very highly unlikely. when everything in society is as per normal. So importance, it's not important that I have this feast, but the risk factor is very, very, very low. Much, much lower than the importance part. So why not? And the point is, if it does get important in an urban survival situation of homelessness, then you're sweet. Okay, because the risk factor really isn't there. You can sort of get away with it. But then as the risk factor starts to climb, that's when you start thinking, could this deal just to get a fucking snag cost me my life? So you've got to know when to barter and how to barter. Okay, the bartering part can be easy. Alcohol, fucking exercise equipment, for all I fucking know. It just depends on the situation and what's in demand, what people aren't getting. So when all society is broken down, people may still be getting food, but they don't have all the gym equipment they once had and access to it. So they may want particular things. You just got to be smart about what people need. And then there's the negotiation skills, which I'll get to. So the negotiation skills are pretty much non-relevant in a homelessness situation. So the more a situation becomes risky, the more serious the situation, the higher your negotiation skills must be. So for instance, if you take alcohol to a particular urban survival situation, let's say civil war, all systems are down, or all society is pretty much down in terms of the supply chain. Oh fuck, 5% battery. Let's just say you've got your bottle of alcohol and you're going to approach some known party of survivalists, and they're the shit. Everybody knows them, and they're like running things. If you go there with one bottle of alcohol and that's your only bottle of alcohol, they could steal it off you. They could tell you to get fucked. And if you complain, they may put a cap in your fucking knee or leg. But if you tell them, listen, I've got to walk back 20, 30 Ks, I've got to go through here, go through there, I heard about you guys, I just want to check this out. I've got more alcohol, I can come back with heaps more. I just need this and this and this. I've got plenty of alcohol, man. I've got it lying around, hiding in bushes, up 20 Ks that way, and you know how it is. I've just got some sites established. Because people that run those sorts of gangs in those situations aren't just going to pull out the gun and say, "Give me alcohol." They're going to suss you out first and see what you're about, because they will suspect that you may know more and have more. And if it's just alcohol and you're not a threat to them, they won't give a fuck about you leaving the camp and coming back with something. They may, because you could be a threat to them, so you've also got to suss that out. By simply knowing what's there and leaving, you could come back with people, so they will question you. So depending on the severity of the situation, even going into the camp may be dangerous, so it may not be worth it. But if just under that, if it is, them knowing that you've got more alcohol elsewhere would be more appealing than just going with one bottle. even if you don't have it. So that says to them, shit, yeah, we can get heaps more grog, and alcohol in such a situation will be in high demand. It could even be used for other things, for Zippo lighters, for fucking fuels for small engines, things like that. You use alcohol for a lot of things. It can be used as an antiseptic, it can be used as a painkiller, it can be used for many, many things. Alcohol is the ultimate in a survival situation for many reasons. So there's negotiation skills to take consideration of. But bartering, definitely something you need to know how to do and when not to do. Okay? So you've got to be, what you can offer and what amazing deals you can make in this illustrious new world that could come about isn't relevant when all society breaks down. What's the most relevant in bartering is your negotiation skills, your capacity to ascertain risk factors, and knowing when not to try to barter. Because knowing when not trying to barter may save your life. Understand that when all society breaks down, even you venturing into someone's land may have that person believe you are now a risk to their safety and livelihood, because you could leave, tell other people what you saw, and therefore you are better dead. And it just depends how severe that situation is. Now let's turn to a pandemic, for instance, like we had the other year. You're probably not going to be shot for seeing what's in someone's house or how they're coping in the coronavirus. You get me? There are different dynamics for every situation. So if you were going to barter in such a situation because society wasn't going so well and people were losing jobs, you could negotiate safely. Okay, so I hope you get my point of the concept of bartering. That's the most important part of this, knowing how to barter, knowing why to barter, knowing it's much less what to barter as opposed to what's in demand and what you can barter. And negotiation skills, they need to fit the dynamics of the situation, but then you've got to also know that there's a limit to any negotiation. Unlike the movies, that's just garbage. The movies will get you killed. Okay, there's a limit to what's even possible to negotiate. You just don't go there. You don't approach that, because you even being there means you could be killed, you could be harmed, you could have everything stolen from you. It's just pointless and completely nonsense. You don't do it unless it's a life and death situation, and a risk is a must, because the answer to not risking is almost certain death or something severe. So know how to weigh the situation. Weighing the risk factors of a bartering situation is the most important part of bartering. Not, oh, I've got some subwoofers to offer, or I've got a fucking stolen radio from Strathfield Auto. Yeah, you want a fucking doof cunt? I need some alcohol. It's not. It doesn't matter what goods you got. This isn't like childhood games and yeah, I've got the goods. It's not like that. That's not what bartering in a survival situation is about. You've got to be very, very adult minded about it.